So today I'm making this album art. Well, I'm making the back parts of this album art. I didn't get to film the first part, but I mean, it's a front and the back cover, so here we are. So of course with Blender, the first thing you do, they always say go in and delete all this extra stuff. So you delete the box, click X, boom, delete this light, boom, and I'm gonna delete the camera too because why not? When I click the center button on my mouse, I can, rotate that. Blender Kit changed my life because, I didn't really know. I thought I had to make everything from scratch. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna search Jet, and we're gonna click this filter because it's free first. I'm not paying for none of this stuff. Boom. Here's one that I like. Click that. And yeah, I'm just gonna zoom in and out. Let me make sure it's nothing else that I like. I mean, this one is cool. I think this is the same one that I used for the front cover. Let me see. Well, we can. Well, I mean, I don't know. She was on a jet in the first one, so we just gonna go ahead and we're gonna keep the one that we got because I don't really know. But shout out to Blender Kit. It's like an add-on. So let's find a ground for the plane to be on. Oh, ground beef. Let's see. Why are they're so small? Asphalt works. Yo, that's dumb small. That works, I'm sure. Let me see. But yeah, that's like dumb small. Let me see how it actually looks. Okay, dark, of course, because I don't have any light yet. So let's add that. Boom. So we're going to add light. Let's do a sun because we need a really, really, really big source. Click it, hold G, then I can move this light around. Hold R, then I can rotate it. Boom. And that's giving me, the shadow that I need to make it look a little bit more realistic here. But it is super duper dark. I don't know what type of sun it is. Maybe it's giving sunset. So we're gonna go here to properties, change our strength. I just double click the light itself. That's way too bright. Way too bright. Let me see, hold on. Let me move it away before I turn the intensity down. That's still way too bright. And honestly, I can't even really see the shadow because the ground is so small, but let me change this. Let's try 25. No, still too bright. Let's do 10. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. It's not like super duper washed, but it's also, I don't want it to be white because the sun is not white. Oh, that looks what? A little yellow-ish is what we want. Not there. I am going for like a sunset vibe, so we're gonna make it a little yellow-ish move to white. Yeah, correct. That's kind of matching the vibe of the front cover that I did here. Now I want this light to be a little bit to the back because I think the original photo was kind of backlit, but kind of not really. So let me zoom out, rotate it again, boom. I just want the light to hit it a certain way. So I'm just like panning around with the tab key and my mouse. Boom, let me zoom in. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I wanted the light to be a little higher. So let's add a camera so that I can actually preview how this is gonna look when I export it. So this is toggling camera view on and off. Again, I'm learning this program, so these are all things that I learned. There's a little trick that I learned. You can lock camera view, and then that way, whatever I rotate or pan or whatever, like that's the actual exported image, like proportions or, whatever the case may be. Like instead of actually having to move the camera, I'll just move the view as it's locked to the camera. Yeah, cute. So let me double click the camera so I can try to change the properties of this. Let's see. So I'm trying to make this camera vertical. I don't want it to be these dimensions. I'm trying to change the dimensions of the camera and I don't know how to do that. So we're gonna go Google it. Yeah. Make camera vertical in Blender. Yeah, okay, resolution. So now we can change the dimensions. So right now it's 1920 by 1080. Ooh. 1920. Okay, that's what I need. I need to be a little more vertical. Again, rotating it around, zoom in and out. if I hold shift, then that allows me to pan a little differently. Listen, I don't really know the terminologies and all the things, but this is how it's working. So I want to extend the ground, but I don't know how to do that because I don't know why they gave me such a small little area of ground. Like, I don't know what that's sufficient for. So extend ground blender, extrude and scale tools, which makes sense. So let's try the extrude. I've learned about that. So I'm gonna click it, boom, go to edit mode, and E allows me to extrude. So let's edit mode, then we're gonna hit E. Let's pan over a little bit. E. Oh, I mean, no. That does look kind of cool though. Like there might be an opportunity for that as something. Let me see. Okay, if I wanted to make like a pillar or something. But why the sides look like that? I don't know, but at any rate, that's not what we wanted to do. So let's undo that. Boom. I need it to be wider, not taller. Okay, I couldn't figure that out. So we're just gonna try to scale it. I think that makes the most sense. So let's go back to object mode, boom. Select this layer, and then S to scale it. So we're just gonna make it bigger. Yeah, exactly. Okay, make that wide as I need. G to move it down. Let's see if I can get my perspective right because how is it going through? Boom, cute. Then let's get it right on it so it looks like it's on there. Shout out to the shadow. Oh, yes, that's looking how it needs to look. Now the ground, the level of detail on the ground is not really given, but I don't think it matters. Like, and then like I said, I'm making an album art. So why did I choose this? Why did I choose this orientation in the first place? So let's make it my camera of square, 1920 by 1920 camera view. Boom. Okay, easy. We are coming along. It's still on lock the camera view. So let's move this around. Yeah, because the subject is going to be like standing, I guess like in front of it or to the side of it. Like she just got off of the plane and she's just like walking away. Like she just came back from war. Because that's like the concept is Honey, I'm Home. Like she just came back from, you know, fighting a tough time. But let's move this. What am I doing here? Why did it just go down like that? So let's move it up again. We're giving it holding G to do that. Okay, it's floating like it hasn't landed all the way. Oh wow, that's such good detail. So let's move this over. And we're gonna move that down a little bit. Yeah, G, holding G. It's that, I mean, yeah. It's gonna be off in the distance anyway, so that's fine. We're gonna go with this. But while we're here, I think we want to adjust this lighting. It's still a little too bright for me. It's not really giving a vibe that I wanted to give. So we're gonna click on sun, double click, boom, boom, because I know that's how you get to the properties. And let's turn it down even more. Okay, we're down to 3. So even the sun on the strength of 2 is bright. Yeah. That's giving me. Okay, and then let's change the orientation just a tad. I don't know. I think I want to see it from the side. This is, oh my God, working with this cursor is like crazy. But I want to be like a little bit of a lower angle to kind of match the original photo. Cute, yes, exactly. Maybe I need to zoom in. That's too much. But the other way, yeah, right. Yeah. Because I remember shooting the original photo, which is shot on iPhone, by the way, at like a lower angle, so that it needs to match the perspective here. Yeah. And so I think that's like perfect. So let's export. So we're gonna render image. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like exactly what I need. Zoom out a tad. Okay, then we go to image, save as, and we're going to make this ground. Now, some way I had to make it transparent in the back because I know it's going to be gray already. So how do I do that? Let's see. One of these tabs over here, I remember when I was first learning Blender, they told me that most of the stuff I'm not going to use, like most of these tabs over here, which I don't. Blender's like squish. Oh, film. Yeah, exactly. Click transparent. Boom. And exactly, this is exactly what I need. I need no background in the back because I'm going to add my own background. Boom. All right. Image, save as ground, rewrite it. I don't care. Let me see how it looks. Okay, that's exactly what I need right there. And look, that was so easy. Like I didn't have to make anything. I just had to get the perspective right, add my elements, and boom. Okay, so now let's go back into Photoshop. I use the remove background tool on this one because make life easy. Yeah, it's gonna be super small anyway. Let's add the ground in, and then we're gonna fit this to the screen and just a tad. Yes. Yes. And then we're going to change the layer order. Beautiful. Look, it's coming together already. Let's make her smaller because that doesn't look realistic because I wasn't able to add the depth that I wanted to. I tried to figure that out, but I just decided it wasn't necessary. So if we can make them look like they're closer to the same, like pane or plane or whatever, like the same depth, then that works. A little smaller, but realistically, if she's closer to it, she probably needs to be even smaller because she's not taller than a jet, presumably. Let's make it even smaller. Yeah, that's okay. Move her over. She's walking away from the jet after leaving war. Okay, cute. And then we're gonna use the elements from the original photo because I did all that already. We're not gonna overthink it. So I found this background online somewhere. I think I just Googled like cloudy sky or something like that. Boom, bring that in. Move that all the way below. Wow, like he's really doing a number already. Let's move it up because we don't want all the extra space. Boom. Awesome. So we doing it. This is coming right along. Boom. And the sky has a little blur to it already. I put a Gaussian blur on it just because it's in the background. So let's blur it out. Let's be realistic here. Add a little depth. Let's make her even smaller because again, she's not taller than a jet, presumably. Yeah. Move her up a little. Okay. I'm not mad at all. Cool. So then, now we're going to all the things I learned. Shout out to Benny Prod on YouTube because that's how I learned to blend any elements. Like before I knew anything about Blender, I was making all this stuff from scratch. So we're gonna add some curves, do our adjustment layers. Let's do levels I always use, and then lower alt click is gonna apply it just to her. And then let's bring that down, or actually up. We're just gonna play with it until it looks a little more realistic. I can't say I really know what all this stuff does. I just know I'm in the right tool, so I'm just moving tabs back and forth until it looks realistic. Yeah, that's cool. And so this is not really looking super real. It was just not matching the color of the sky. So we're gonna do a hue saturation layer. Again, alt click to apply just towards that. Let's just adjust this. Yeah, we want it to be a little more orange-ish. A little more. Okay, no. That's okay. That looks insane. Okay, so yeah, we're going back to like just add a little bit of orange because you're going for like a sunset golden hour type of situation going on here. Okay, I like that. Okay, we're going to add an exposure layer. Again, Alt click to apply just towards her. Let's just bring that down. I felt like it just was looking a little too bright considering it's supposed to be backlit and it's like, where would this light even be coming from on her? So bring that down just a little bit. Yeah. Okay, that looks a little more realistic. Boom. Okay, so now we need some type of shadow. So we're going to duplicate this layer. Boom. When it does that, it like takes off the adjustment layers or whatever, some way, somehow. So let's just duplicate it. Boom. Okay, still did it, whatever. So we're just going to apply them again. Alt click, boom. We duplicated that for the shadow. So we're going to go to adjustment layer, exposure, boom. Exposure all the way down to make it black. Yeah, because the shadow is black, at least typically. Select that, boom, let's move that over. And then we're going to, I don't know, we need to adjust this somehow. Yeah, let's rotate it first and foremost. Then we're gonna do that. No, I need to flip it because the gun is on the other side. But let's get the foot placement together first. Make it a little smaller. Rotate it. Just, yeah, we need the orientation of that to be the same as the shadow coming from the jet, just to make it look a little more realistic. Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Good. Then I need to. Okay, flip. Did that do what I need to do? Yes, because the gun is on that side now. Cool. Okay, again, we're going to align it with the feet. All right. And rotate it just a little more because the shadow on the jet is at that orientation. Okay, and so this shadow is looking super de-duper fake, so let's do this. We're gonna adjust the opacity a tad because why is it so black and so harsh? Oh, I can't really see. Let me zoom in. And let's skew it, or distort it rather. Yeah, because it was just, I don't know, it's just looking fake. Yes. Stretch it out a little bit, you know, it's not necessarily, the shadow don't be like the exact same shape typically, especially considering like it's on the ground. So we're gonna adjust that, boom, skew it a little bit just by touching these points and dragging them. That looks better. Still feel like the orientation is a little bit off. Now let's go here, let's go to blur. Too much. Okay, yeah, because the actual shadow on the jet again is not so harsh. The lines are not so defined. This looks a little too blurry. We're gonna do this. Boom. And okay. Now, I feel like, I don't know why I feel like, I don't know, like I don't know, I feel like the shadow coming from the jet is like a little more like blue-ish or something. Like, maybe I'm being a little more too technical, but we're gonna try a hue saturation layer just to see if we can, okay, Okay, that does nothing because it's black. Like I took the exposure all the way down, so it's kind of like the void. Yeah, so I think this is one of the situations where I'm like, it really doesn't matter. Delete. Boom. Okay, that's looking decent. We're gonna rotate it a tad because again, we want to match that as much as possible. Okay. Little. Okay, whatever. Anyway, that's fine. Okay. We are really, really getting there. It's looking rather realistic. A little smaller because why is it the shadow going out that much? Trying to get it in the right place. Okay, that looks okay. That looks better. That looks better. We're gonna rotate it some more because I see it. I see it for sure. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay. So let's blur it again. I just felt like it was still a little too harsh. And then, to be honest, that's looking good. That's looking good. That's looking good. Let's see. We're gonna use the blur tool just to blur it a little bit more. Make it larger. Boom. Let's just blur like the top because the part that's farthest away from it is going to be even softer and less defined. Exposure. We're adding another exposure. Bring that down. Yeah, and then we're going to invert it. Boom. Get the brush tool. We're going to paint white over the black exposure layer. Just in certain areas because we want it to be dark, but yeah. So down here there would be no light. There's no light at all. So we're going to make it darker around there, darker on the side, darker. Ooh, that's too much. Way too strong. So let's do that. Make it bigger, softer, boom. Take the flow and opacity down. Do I know the difference? Nope, but they work. Tap it ever so slightly just to make her darker because where is that light coming from? Okay, cute, that's looking good. Okay, and so now I think I can bring in the rest of the elements from the original photo because again, we're not reinventing the wheel. So let's go down here. Yeah, let's grab the jets and these little light things. We're gonna get all the jets because I put all those here manually. I'm just gonna copy and bring over each and every one. Copy. Was shift and select. Okay. Copy. We're gonna go back over. Wrong one. We're gonna go back here and we're gonna paste. Boom. Easy. Transform. Let's flip it. Yeah, let's flip it because we want to make it seem like it's going in the same direction as the actual plane. I don't know why I was going that way in the first place. Boom. Let's move them up a little. Okay, whatever. Let's make them smaller. Why are they so huge? Like they're landing too. We want them to just be like they keep going. Like the only person that landed was Nia Monaè. Okay, and then body all grouped together. Well, I know why they grouped together like that, but we don't want them to be. So we're gonna select them individually and just kind of spread them out. And then these little flare thingies, let me see. Boom. What do I want them to be? How big though? Let's move them up because I don't want them all on the ground and stuff. Yeah, boom, cute. And even smaller. Okay, that's looking pretty consistent with the original. We want to bring over all the other elements, so I'm gonna bring over the parental advisory. Copy, paste, boom, shrink it. Let's put that in the corner somewhere. My good sis likes, a little profanity. Let's put it on the right. Balance it out. Then let's bring over the wording, honey, copy, and then paste. Okay, shrink that. Just over here. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this text because this is like the back, so it's the track list. Yeah. Cute. And I need to add a little bit of smoke because I don't know, just add some atmosphere, like the jet just landed or whatever the case. We're gonna do a new solid layer. Boom, white, yes. Click this. Command I is going to invert it. Boom, because we want to paint like kind of like whitish smoke, if you will. And then let's see if I have some already. I got, let's say fog brushes. Let's make this bigger. Okay, cute. I don't know. I don't really like that shape too much. Not that it even really matters. Let's go. See what kind of smoke brushes they got. Let's just click that, see what it looks like. Okay, yeah, boom. Make that smaller. Oh, too small. Big gear. Okay, light taps. Literally just to add a little atmosphere. That is huge. That is humongous, actually. Can we do half that? Boom. Okay, yeah. So now it's a little atmosphere, a little fog, a little smoke. I mean, maybe smoke from the jet itself. All right. So smoke in the air. Tap, 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 tap. I usually finish off composites like this with camera raw filter, add some clarity, adjust the colors, boost them, saturation, and all those things like that, just to make it super duper sharp. And I feel like I ate it. So this is eating. And again, iPhone photography, 100%. Shot it on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, shot it raw, processed it through Lightroom, went in here, did a full composite, added Blender, Photoshop, and here we are. Okay, so that took me a long time, but again, I'm kind of like a noob, well, in Blender specifically, but with Photoshop, I've been doing this for kind of like a while. But that was easy, so stay tuned for the next rendition of a noob working in Blender. See ya.